All right. Okay. So let's start. First, we can start. What do you mean by testing, everyone? So, any idea? What do you mean by testing? I'm not asking you exact the meaning of what do you mean by testing. At least, what do you think about the testing?
We test the products so that it reaches the requirement
Okay.
as per the requirement after that.
Any other questions? Exactly. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, no problems. Let's see the statement. As someone said, it is a process to evaluate. To evaluate the functionality of the software with intent of to find the whether the developed software met the specified requirements or not. Specified requirements are not called testing. So, software, I can say that testing is a process to evaluate the functionality of the software with intent of to find whether the developed developed SOFT software met the specified requirements are not called as the testing. Okay, so now generally if you take a general example, so assume that you are planning to purchase a bike. So in order to purchase a bike, what you will do before you are going to purchase the bike? Any sample example? Okay.
We'll look at the features.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we'll brought that bike or whatever product.
Exactly. Which means you are testing the product, whether the product will meet your requirements or not. Say, for example, I have 4 types of bikes are there. Example, like so one is from Honda, one is from Hero, one is from, I can say, Apache, one is from, I can say, assume that there are 4 bikes are there. So which means you can test, right, which bike is specifies my requirement or meet my requirement. So assume that my requirement is I'm looking for the bike which gives more mileage. Or your requirement may be you are looking for the speed. I can say how I can say which bike will, I can say, go very fast. Which in terms of maybe you are looking for the how the I can say how the bike will run with the speed. Someone will look at about the engine specification. I can say if my engine specifications are more, I can control my bike, or I can go with fast also. Which means you are testing various combinations to make sure the product is meeting my requirement or not. That's called as a software testing. Clear, guys? Or any confusion? Everyone? Alright. Now, I know what you mean by testing. Now, what are the different type of testings are there? Right? So, testing broadly categorized 2 ways. Testing is broadly categorized 2 ways. One is functional testing. One is functional testing. Another one is non-functional testing. First one is functional testing. Another one is non-functional testing. Okay. Now, so again, the functional testing categorized 2 ways. So testing categorized one is functional testing, another one is non-functional testing. Now, functional testing categorized into 2 ways. One is, I can say, manual testing. Next one is automation testing. Automation testing. Now we'll see in detail about what do you mean by manual and automation further. Now let's see about non-functional testing. Non-functional testing. So again, non-functional testing categorized 2 ways. One is performance testing. So second one is security testing. Security testing. Now let me brought down, I can say, with all the details. So I don't want to again write new statements. Let me get it from the previous class. Class notes. Okay, let me go to the downloads. Now let me open. Someone is pinging. Whatever. Can you hear me, guys? Or still you are having any issues?
No, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, Ashok. Sorry, Lokesh having some audio issue. Aravind?
I know, sir, I'm hearing.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, let's see this. Now, if you see, so again, testing is categorized two ways. One is functional testing, another one is non-functional testing. Now, let's see, what do you mean by functional testing?
Hello,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah?
Sir, sir, this one is recorded, sir. This session.
Oh, okay. 1 second. I missed out. Yeah, it's recording. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Now, if you see here, testing is categorized into two types. One is functional testing, another one is non-functional testing. So I don't want to rewrite again the same lines of statement. Let's take it as same. Now, again, so functional testing categorized, manual testing and automation testing. And when it comes into the non-functional testing, where you can see, so non-functional testing called the performance testing and security testing. Okay, now let's go and see the first one. So what do you mean by functional testing? So it's testing technique that is used to test the features or functionalities of the system or software, should cover all the scenarios including failure path and boundary analysis. Again, the boundary cases or boundary analysis is nothing but the functional testing. So don't worry about the statements, okay? So it is just the basic concepts, okay? And functional testing categorized again two ways. One is manual testing and another one is automation testing. These are important. Now, what do you mean by manual testing? So if you see the statement, it is a testing process. Manual testing also, it's a process to carry out, I can say, that is carry out manually in order to find out the defect without using any tools, without using any automated tools. That's called as a manual testing. How the manual testing will be carried out means, I can say, so assume that I am the client and you are the vendor for me. Okay, I given one application, I asked you to test my application. Then, so as a vendor, they used to recruit the QA team. I can say the QA teams are nothing but the functional team are called as manual team. I can say manual testers as well as automation testers. So when it comes into the manual testing, where as a vendor, they can reach to the products. I can say I'm the client. I can say product means the clients. And the vendor will ask the client, what is your exact requirement? Okay. Then immediately I will share my, I can say application requirements. I can say that called as the functional requirements. So assume that, let's take a sample example of an application called a Redbus or Amazon or Flipkart. Example. So as a Amazon or Redbus or Flipkart, what is their requirement? They want to test that Amazon website or Flipkart website or Redbus application. Now let's take a sample example of Redbus application. So what is their functional requirement? The functional requirements are nothing but, I can say, test the Redbus application with various combinations of arrival and departure cities and check whether the list of buses are displaying in the application or not, and also test with various combinations. So give the arrival city as same as well as departure city as same, and see whether you can get the data or not, or something else you will be getting. That are my requirements. I'm just giving one or two requirements. Then once I received the functional requirement documentation from the client, then I can analyze the functional requirements similarly as BRDs, also business requirements. So I used to analyze those BRDs and FRDs. I used to come up with the test scenarios. What are the various test scenarios? I can say scenarios I can test of Redbus application. Okay. So once the testers identified the scenarios, okay, in the Redbus application, these many scenarios I can able to test it as part of functional testing. Then the manual testers will prepare the business, I can say the scenarios, not business scenarios, okay, test scenarios, and they will come up with each scenario having list of test cases. Now let's take a sample example of Redbus application of one of the scenario called search list of buses. Is my scenario. Now tell me how many test cases I can write for search the buses. Example, at least you can give one or two examples. So I want to test list of buses as to display in the, I can say, Redbus application. So how I can test that scenarios with I can say various combinations.
You can search for.
Yes. Can you hear me right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So my question is, so let's take a sample scenario. I'm just giving one sample scenario to you guys. I want to understand your thoughts on that. I want to test list of buses available in the Redbus application. This is my scenario. Now, how you can test to present, okay, this one is list of buses are available in the Redbus application. How many ways you can test your application manually?
Let's start with the search bar. Yeah, destination and arrival, I mean start point and end point.
Okay.
Login and logout signups.
Okay.
Date of journeys.
Okay.
And that's it I have in mind.
Okay. That's very good. I can say at least you are come up with 3 to 4 scenario. I can say 4 test cases. Now, apart from those, so generally when you come to the, I can say the Indian mentalities, I can say the Indian guys, generally we used to follow the date and time with day, month and year, right?
Yeah.
Correct? What about if I give first month and date and year? So that I can validate the date parameter. Whether it still picks the month and date and year functionality. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Which means I'm giving not only the valid data, I'm giving invalid data to test my application whether it will be accept invalid data or not. Which means, can I test my application with positive as well as negative? Exactly. I have to test. Why? Because assume that I have developed my application, I given my date functionality as day, month and year. But as a end user, assume that you are the end user, you don't know, you can select month, day and year, right? Okay. Now, so we are in the discussion phase of about the red bus available list of buses functionality. So where how many test cases I can prepare for that particular scenario by I can say by giving invalid date and time format as well as invalid arrival city and departure city as well as valid arrival city and departure city to make sure that my application works in positive as well as negative way. That kind of testing will be carried out in the manual testing, where the manual testers write the business, I can say test scenarios as well as test cases for each test scenario. A test scenario may contains multiple test cases, which I just explained about the positive test cases as well as negative test cases. Any confusion, guys, here? Now, if you see here, a test scenario contains multiple test cases. A test case contains multiple test steps. Am I correct? So assume that the test case is I want to search I can say I want to display the list of buses by giving a valid arrival city and departure city is my test case. So for that I have to write the test steps, right? I have to open the application, Redbus application. I have to give the input data. I can see input data called input arrival. I can see give the input data for arrival city as well as departure city and arrival date and departure date. Then click on search buses. Those are called as test steps. And in the manual testing, all test cases will be executable manually. There is no automatic process. So we have to execute those test cases manually. Now, if you see the sample example I have given, so product, online shopping, one of the application or app, search for product, it displays list of the product, select required product, it shows 5 products in the showing 5 products in the cart. So these are the steps. I am just giving an example. Now let's take another sample example. For example, I want to test, let's take e-commerce application. Let's take off Amazon website. Now in Amazon website, I want to test my electronic products. So when it comes into the electronic products, I can test various types of electronic products. Correct? So each product, I can write a separate test case. Correct? A product may contains multiple, I can say multiple brands. Am I correct? So if I say mobile is my product, when I'm planning to test my mobile, a mobile contains multiple brands, right? So I want to test each brand, but you cannot test thousands of brands. Am I correct? So that's called as the coverage percentage. That's called as test coverage. So comes into the manual testing, sometimes you may not achieve 100% test coverage. Okay, that kind of, I can say, testing will be done in the manual testing, where the manual testers first they has to analyze the BRDs as well as FRDs. BRDs as well as FRDs. Based on that, they will define the number of scenarios are required to test that functionality. So based on derived the scenarios, they used to derive the test cases. How many test cases are there? I can say required for each test scenario. So based on the test cases they defined, they used to write the test steps for each test case. And they will be executing those test cases manually. You may ask how they can execute the test steps manually. Means just open the application, navigate the steps manually. Whatever steps I have written for each test case. Any confusion, guys, or any doubts on the manual testing side? I can say manual testing process. Everyone? Okay, now let's come to the automation testing. So before that, there are some test management tools are there. One sec, guys. Management tools are there in the manual testing. So that called as ALMQC, Quality Center, Jira, Bugzilla, Test Complete, RFT, Rational Functional Tester. There are various test management tools are there to define the scenarios. I can say to define the scope as well as define the scenarios, define the test cases, execute the test cases. If any issues are found, raise the defect in the defect tracking tool called as Jira or Bugzilla. So where you can trace your defects, whether the defects are, I can say, resolved by the development team. I can say the development team is fixed those issues or not. Like that, not only these three, I can say 4 tools, there are various tools are there. Okay. So now in the various tools available in the market. Rational Functional Tester, RFT. Okay, so like that, they used to use various tools to define the scope, I can say, scope in terms of the requirements, then define the scenarios, then define the test cases and define the test steps for each test case and execute the test cases and make it as fail if the steps are not got the expected response, I can say expected results, then raise the defect for those issues. This entire process will be done in manual testing. Any confusion, guys? Over here? Everyone? Are any questions, guys? Okay, now let's see on the automation side. So what do you mean by automation testing? Now, software test automation makes use of specialized tools to control the executions of the test and compare the actual results against the expected results. Which means in the manual testing, where we are testing the application functionality to make sure that those functionalities are properly working or not manually. Instead of testing the steps manually, why can't we automate those steps? By using the automation tools. In automation testing, the same functionalities will be tested using the automation tools. Instead of testing those functionalities manually, use the automation tool to test the same functionalities. Now tell me, which testing will save the money to the client? Now assume that I am the client. Now I am asking you guys, hey, can you tell me which testing saves my cost? I can say cost means I have to, give the billing to the resources, right? So now tell me how I can reduce my billing cost. Can I go with manual testing or can I go with automation testing? Guys, any answer for this?
Automation testing. Okay.
Okay, good. Automation testing. Remaining guys?
Automation.
Okay, automation. Next. Next guys. So no one accept manual testing. Okay. Now you said automation testing. Now my question is why? Why automation saves my, I can say I'm the client. How automation will save my money? You said automation. Now how? How it saves my money?
Because it's speed to test. So that speed will automatically reduce the cost.
Okay. Any other answers, guys?
It will reduce the amount of testing time, and we can
Exactly.
test it for n
Exactly.
number of test data. And
Exactly.
can test, I mean, more than applications are like one or two. I guess.
Yes, exactly. The first statement is valid. So, when it comes into the manual testing, so for example, assume that I have 100 test cases. Example. I'm just giving example. Let me open the another here. Now, I have 100 test cases. Example I'm giving. Okay, I have 100 test cases. Now, each test case contains, let's take 20 steps. Each test case contains 20 steps. So now total steps are come on 2000. Correct? Everyone agree? Okay. Now, to test these 200 test steps for one manual tester, I can say one functional or QA tester, whatever name you can call it. Now, let's take QA tester or manual tester or functional tester. All are same only. Okay. Functional tester. Now, assume that let's take one step, he will take 30 seconds. Is it reasonable?
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 seconds is reasonable, quite reasonable to test one step. Now, 2000 steps into 30 seconds. How much?
60,000 seconds, approximately.
60,000 seconds. Correct? Now convert into hours. Can I say 10 hours? Correct?
Yeah.
Or anything different? Okay, now 10 hours. To test 2000 steps, I need 10 hours duration. Correct? Now let's take, I'm the client, I am paying to you per hour example I'm giving $30. Per hour I am paying $30 for one functional resource. Now for 10 hours how much? $300. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. Now convert into rupees. Let's take 65. Can I say 19,500? Correct? To test 2000 steps, how much I am spending is 19,000 rupees. Correct?
Yeah.
Now comes to automation. Now to automate, 2,000 steps took for me, assume that, let's take 6 hours. Example I'm giving. Or maybe now let's take it taken 12 hours. I will give you why. Why 12 hours? Why? Because the automation team has to develop, I can say, write the code, right? To automate those 2,000 steps. Initially, it will take more time. Okay? Now, which means I used to spend more time. I can say I used to not more time, sorry. I used to spend more amount at initial time. Okay? It's one time, correct? One time, now 12 hours. 12 hours, let's take into $30. So $360. Now 360 into 65. How much? How much, guys?
23,400.
17,000?
23,400.
23,000. Okay. So 23,400. Okay, super. Then how automation is preferred compared to functional testing? I can say the manual testing. In manual testing, let me complete my word, then you can start. So in manual testing, I'm spending only 19,500, but in automation, I'm spending 23,400. Now you can talk.
See, the efforts we're talking about manual testing. So whenever we do the manual testing, every time it will take the 10 hours of time.
Exactly.
When it comes to automation, initially it will take for 12 hours. Once the automation is done, we can test that, or we can do that execution within 5 or 6 hours of time.
Exactly. Which means the amount of time will be reduced when I do retesting. Say, when I do retesting of 2,000 steps manually, again, assume that this time I know the steps and some experience, I took 8 hours instead of 10 hours. But in automation, because I totally developed my code for those 2,000 steps, I just has to click on run that suite. I can say the automation suite. Assume that it took 3 hours to complete 2,000 steps. Now, how much hours I am saving to my client? 9 hours. Here, how many hours I am saving? 2 hours. Correct? So that is the reason nowadays most of the clients, they are preferring for automation. 100% of the clients, they are preferring automation. But don't think like there is no concept of functional testing. I can say the manual testing. Still manual testing will be there. But when compared to manual testing, now most of the companies, most of the clients, they are focusing on automation. Now, are you clear what is the difference between manual testing and automation testing? Are still any confusion? Everyone?
Yeah, I think we are good at this.
All right. Now let me go back to here. Now, so to automate my 2000 steps, there are various automation testing tools available in the market. There are various automation testing tools available in the market. Most of the people, they may know, I can say they may hear about Selenium. Selenium test automation tool, which is more popular, I can say most leading marketing tool nowadays, which open source, no need to purchase any license. Or QTP or UFT. Now LeanFT is there, now latest version, that's okay. And VSTS coded UI. Like that, there are plenty, not only these 3 or 4 tools, and I just give an example of 3 to 4 tools. At least people can aware in the sample discussions, hey, do you know any automation tool experience? At least you have to know, right, what are the different automation tools available in the market. Right. So yes, there are various test automation tools available in the market, but the most popular tools I have defined here are Selenium, QTP, or UFT, VSTS coded UI. Like there are n number of tools available in the market. All right. All right. So we'll just recollect once again. So we discussed about the testing and the testing types called functional and non-functional, and comes into the functional testing, again categorized manual testing as well as automation testing. Still so far, anyone have any confusions or any doubts? Everyone? Okay. If no questions, then let's move on to next one is another type of testing called non-functional testing. So non-functional testing again categorized 2 ways called performance testing and security testing. Now let's talk on that performance testing. So let's see the statement. What do you mean by performance testing? So it's a non-functional testing to perform or to determine the system parameters in terms of responsiveness, called, I can say, how fast. The responsive means how fast and the stability and scalability of the system under various workload. So the workload are nothing but the user load. Okay, so it may be difficult to understand this statement. The statements are that's common statements. Now let's take our understanding format. Now let's see what do you mean by performance testing. Now I can give a sample example of. So I guess everyone prepared the competitive exams, right? I guess most of the people, they prepared the competitive exams. Maybe during their completion of 10th standard, or maybe they completed 12th standard. Am I correct? So after 12th, I can say they used to prepare for AMSET competitive exam. And during the 10th, I say after the 10th, they may prepare for, I can say, different exams. Correct? Everyone? Right, super. Now, how you can apply for EAMCET entrance? Through online only, right? Correct? Now, super. Now, as a humans are very laziest people in the world compared to others. So what used to do? Okay. So they used to clearly mention like last date is so and so date. Okay. Okay. Yes, we have a couple of days. Okay, it reaches 1 week. Okay, still we have 1 week. So it reaches to 2 days. Okay, still we have 2 days. It reaches to last day. What you people will do last day?
Rushing.
So last day, the n number of people will apply the online
At a time.
at a time. So you may hearing like, hey, application down. Why application down?
Server down.
Yeah, server down. Why server down?
All the people are doing at a time now. The server.
Which means, yes, which means the server is not able to handle those much of user load. Can I say 500 people are accessing EAMCET website, which means 500 users. Can I say 500 users instead of 500 people?
Yeah.
So 500 people try to access the, I can say EAMCET website, which is the EAMCET website servers are not able to handle those 500 users, which means my application performance is it means went down. Okay, my I can say EAMCET website is working fine. When the people are in the system, I can say in the website of 50 users, it's working fine. Whenever I click on next, I'm pretty sure I'm getting the pages very fastly. Now, after 10 minutes, again 50 more users are trying to open the website. Now I'm getting the page, like say for example, instead of 30 seconds, I'm getting in 40 seconds. Whenever the users are keep on increasing, my application is taking more time to load from one page to another page. Which means, can I say my application performance is going down whenever the more users are in the system. How I can evaluate my application performance? By doing the performance testing of that particular application, I can know my application sustain this many user load. Say, let's take EAMCET. At any point of time, EAMCET website will handle 1,000 users. So what is the objective of now performance testing? To test my application performance under various user load. How my application will behave when the various user load in the system. The various user load may be 100 users, maybe 500 users, maybe 1,000 users, maybe 2,000 users. Now you got what do you mean by performance testing?
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that's called as the performance testing. Okay. Now assume that I'm the client. I can say I don't want to test my application performance test. I don't want to do. I want to do only functional testing, automation to make sure that my application is working perfectly. Super. Now I my application, I make it as live application, which means everyone can access my application. Okay. So the first day, the 30 people accessed my application. I can say 30 users are accessing my application. It worked awesome. Okay. Second day, the usage will be increased, right? Day by day.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Second day, let's take off 50 people are, maybe 60 people are accessing my application. Okay. Still, my application working as awesome. Now, third day, 150 people are accessing my application. Now, let's take an example of the first page. I can say, let's home page. It's taking to load in 30 seconds. Okay, super. Now, fourth day, 300 people, or I can say 300 people, in terms of 300 users are accessing my application. Home page is taking 1 minute. Now, next day, 500 people are accessing my application. Home page, loading the home page, it's taking 2 minutes. Can you think the end user will wait 2 minutes to open that website? Now let's take from your perspective. So you people are very enthusiastic and so you won't wait that much time to open one website, correct? So when I say let's take off the movie websites. So a new movie was released yesterday, I can say maybe today morning, I want to book that movie ticket. Okay, let's take Book My Show. So, do you people really wait to load Book My Show in 2 minutes? You will get frustrated, right? Hey, what is this Dabba website? It's taking that URL or that maybe the website. It is taking 2 minutes. People will definitely get frustrated, right? Yes. So that is the reason nowadays every product or every application, every client, they want to do the performance testing of their applications. They want to do their applications performance testing. Okay. Now, the performance testers, if the performance testing team will I can say if the performance testing team provides sign off saying this product will work when the product will go live. If the performance testing team not providing the sign off, the product will not go to the live. It won't go. Product won't go to the live unless if the performance testing team certifies, yes, this product will work perfect. I can say the performance will be good. So that much important nowadays, I can say that much importance of performance testing nowadays. Every client, they will ask to do functional as well as automation and performance testing. Clear, guys? Are any confusion on the performance testing? What do you mean by performance testing? Now, I just given one sample example here. So, I just given the Redbus application search functionality. So, I want to search the buses available from Bangalore to Mumbai. I entered Bangalore to Mumbai and I click on search. It is displaying the buses list in 5 minutes for one user. What about 50 users trying to set the bus? It is taking 10 minutes to display the list of buses. Will you be patient? I can say get more patience to display the red bus application in 10 minutes. No, right? So that is the reason. So the performance testing objective is how my application is stable, how my application is scalable, how my application is reliable. The objective of performance testing is to check how stable of my application, how my application will be scalable, how I can reliable of my application. These are the three aspects we can look, I can say we can test in the performance testing of any application. Stability, scalability, and reliability. Clear, guys? Are any confusion till here?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So now let's see, I can say performance testing types or techniques. I don't want to, tell all the points in one day. We can take these performance testing types or techniques in our tomorrow class. Now let's move on to any open questions or queries from your side.
Okay, sir. Tomorrow at what time class will be start? At 8 o'clock only, right?
Yes, tomorrow 8 o'clock. Tomorrow morning 8 o'clock.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any questions, guys? Irrespective of performance testing or testing, any other questions or you can feel free to ask.
So where can we download this recorded video?
So it's recorded in my machine, I can say local machine. I will share through Google, I can say Google Drive.
Okay.
I will give the link, you can download it.
Okay. So from Monday, can we possible to take up 6:30?
6:30?
Yeah, from Monday, will it be possible?
We'll check, we'll decide tomorrow, Girish.
Yeah.
So anyone have any other questions, guys? You can feel free to ask any open questions. I'm ready to answer.